Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we dive into a big stadium video, right? We got news from a certain football club about a certain stadium and we're about to get into it because I think it's generated a lot of opinion. And I think my opinion is basically the same as yours, at least on how it looks. We're going to get into that, but also the topic is now opened up because of this in relation to Chelsea's plans. What's going on? Well, we're going to talk about all of that. But make sure you're here if you're watching at the time of the upload anyway. Later on tonight, there is Champions League second leg football, and we are going to be doing the watch along for that. So make sure you guys are here to catch my reaction to Liverpool versus PSG, Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich, but we've also got Inter Milan versus Feyenoord as Barcelona Benfica is a little earlier and we're not watching that. So those three games I will be watching and we will be doing the live watch along on for, so make sure you're there and catch the reaction and join the conversation. Much appreciated. Now, let's get into Manchester United. They've only gone and unveiled an entire plan on what they want to do for what I presume is going to become New Trafford. Yeah, if we're talking about stadium names, I mean, that is the most logical proposal that I think anyone can put out to the public, is that Old Trafford, all right, New Trafford. Well, do you want to see New Trafford? Show of hands, anyone that wants to see New Trafford. All right, if you want to see New Trafford, get ready to laugh. That's what I'm going to say. Check this out. Here's a new 100,000 seater stadium that will be the centerpiece of the Old Trafford regeneration. There it is. I mean, they've gone for like a Wembley way sort of look, haven't they? I mean, look at that massive path straight to the stadium. That is basically Wembley way. There is the whole conversation about trying to do a Wembley of the North. And this is where the 1958 have already come out in criticism of this stadium. But I think everyone else is coming in criticism of this stadium because it doesn't look like a stadium. It looks like a circus. That looks like a circus. It's a circus. Look at it. It's a gigantic circus. They've gone from the theatre of dreams to the circus. Just the circus. I can't even add anything onto it. It looks like a circus, which, to be honest, would fit the bill right about now. it just would. You know, it'd be very fitting for the way that Manchester United have been playing, except for the game against Arsenal. Of course, they've actually done well. But as a season overall, where they've been, to play in a stadium like that would actually make sense. But what is it with these stadiums? We're getting toilet bowls, now we're getting circuses. I mean, what's next? Are we going to get flipping, I don't know, a fridge design? Suit Harry Maguire, that's for sure. It's bizarre. The designs are bizarre, I got to be honest. But the timing of this is actually quite uncanny, should we say, because the timing of this comes immediately after we've seen, what was it, up to 7,000 or 8,000 United fans that showed up for the protest against the Glazers, against Arsenal before that game. That was organised by the 1958 United Supporters Group. So again, timing is it's a coincidence, isn't it? Well, it doesn't feel like a coincidence. But that's United. And if I'm being honest, yeah, 100,000 capacity stadium is a big deal. That is actually quite a big deal. You would end up with one of the biggest stadiums in the world. Now, that's a statement. And when I hear Jim Ratcliffe, he spoke to the Overlap, to Gary Neville, and he had some very, very, very bold things to say. He put players under the bus. He's talking about how United are about to run out of money. He's just absolutely thrown the entire club under the bus. But he's actually said that, you know what, look, we want to be like Real Madrid. We want to be the best. We want to be winning. We want to be competing at the highest level. And we don't want to have the financial repercussions. We want to be able to have a good financial situation, but we also want to be competing and attracting the best to come and play for Manchester United. I'm like, well, okay, that sounds great. That is what any fan would want to hear, to be honest. He said exactly what fans would want to hear. But one thing is talk and another thing is action. The Glazers are still the ones operating Manchester United. That's just the truth. But this, as a stadium, 100,000 people would definitely be a step in the right direction, at least in terms of where the game is going. As I've said, 100,000 would automatically become the biggest stadium in England. It would trump Wembley. It would I think it would beat the capacity of the Bernabeu. I think it would match the capacity of the Nou Camp. If I'm not mistaken, Nou Camp after renovation is about 100,000. It would be one of the biggest stadiums in the world. And that matches a club like Manchester United in its stature. It should, right? And the also added bonus is that they don't have to move. It's the same site. It's Old Trafford, and they've got massive space next to Old Trafford. They'll probably start knocking Old Trafford down, build this in the same sort of spot, and boom, you've got yourself a brand new superstar stadium, right? The only problem is, like I said, is the design. Who approved this design? You know, just get rid of, look, if they actually built a monster stadium and they got rid of that circus tent, yeah? Look at the stadium. You can see the shape of the stadium underneath the circus tent. Just get rid of the circus tent. And then you've got yourself a monster stadium. I think everyone would approve it. Everyone would. So that's United. And United's situation is a lot more simpler when it comes to the stadium talk. Let's talk Chelsea. Because Chelsea's stadium situation is seriously complicated. At this point, it's seriously complicated. And people want to make it sound very easy. It's not easy. For this, it's actually not easy. You know, we all want to see, look, if you gave the choice for any fan, would you have a bigger stadium? Well, of course. Who wouldn't, right? But when it comes to Chelsea, there's so many limitations here and so many factors at play and circumstances, unlike Man United. Man United have all the boxes ticked. They don't need to move site. They're there. It doesn't make a difference for the fans. They get more fans on board. It's a bigger stadium. It's 100,000 capacity. It's a no-brainer. For Chelsea, people want to put... And look, for this, I'm going to actually defend all corners here. Because I've said it's not easy. People want to put blame on the CPO. People even want to put blame even on the club. People want to put blame on opinions of what fans have. Let's run the situation down about the stadium completely, right? People want to blame the CPO. The CPO, the Chelsea pitch owners, were brought in to safeguard the football club. If it hadn't been for the creation of the CPO, the club would be at the hands of anyone that wants to do whatever the hell they want to do with it. But the CPO are there to protect the name and the ground that the club plays on, which is the pitch at Stamford Bridge, right? Which prevents anyone from just taking advantage, which is a structure that many clubs don't have. And we should be thankful for that, because it's that allows the club to be held accountable. If not, they could just do whatever the hell they want. If we talk logistically now, because there's some people that say, no, we have to move from Stamford Bridge. We have to move. And there's some people that are like, no, like many from the CPO are like, no, we want to stay at Stamford Bridge. Why do we have to go anywhere? There's 120 years of history here, which is something United don't have. They don't need to go anywhere. They can build this on their current Old Trafford site. They've actually got more space next to their stadium right now, which they'll use to build this supership stadium. This spaceship stadium, sorry. Superstar spaceship stadium. You can call it whatever the hell you want. But when it comes to both of those avenues that Chelsea fans would take, move or stay, both are complex. Both are complex. Let's talk about staying at Stamford Bridge and why that is complex, right? Because if we stay at Stamford Bridge and we expand, we can expand. Roman Abramovich, right, who initially in 2011 wanted to actually, let's say, buy out the CPO, right? And then found out how complicated that actually is and found out what the structure is and whatnot. And he backed off and was like, okay, fair enough. There's nothing. This is a safeguard that's in place for the football club. Cool. It didn't bat an eye again, right? There was even a vote in regards to a stadium that reached, I think it reached 65% approval, but you need 75% to be able to pass through the CPO. The CPO do not make any legislation or rules. They don't come to the table and tell you, we want this. The CPO don't do that. It's a CPO. What is a CPO? The CPO are thousands and thousands of normal Chelsea supporters, right? And ex-players, ex-managers, ex-whatever, anyone affiliated with Chelsea who has a share of the pitch. And then when there's a matter at hand that needs to be voted by the CPO, it gets put to a vote within the CPO, and then all the members, all the pitch owners vote. It's as simple as that. That is all the CPO does. The CPO don't show up and start giving agendas and start saying, okay, no, we want this, or we're going to put this proposal forward. But no, the CPO don't do that. The CPO are there ready to be spoken to. If the club have a proposal or something they want to do, they can come to the CPO and go, okay, guys, look, we want to do this. What do you think? That is it. But the CPO don't make any advances. The CPO are sat there waiting for things to happen. That's what the CPO are doing. Which, in regards to the stadium at the moment, the CPO have not been approached. That is common knowledge. By the club, in regards to a stadium, this ownership, the CPO have not been approached. Not yet. So any blame on the CPO like they're hindering anything is a load of rubbish. It's a load of waffle. So I'll protect them on that. But staying at Stamford Bridge, if we're going to talk about staying at Stamford Bridge, and I personally, of course, who wouldn't want to stay at Stamford Bridge, right? Logistically. That's a problem though. If we expand, Roman had a proposal for a new stadium, we remember, the Cathedral. And that, if I'm not mistaken, came up to a capacity of about 55 or 56,000 supporters would be able to get into that stadium. So the expansion would be about 14,000 more than what the stadium currently has, right? That is its max. It can't go more. If they try to find more space like they did acquire Stoll Mansions, Blueco bought Stoll Mansions out, or a portion of it anyway. If we were to try and push it at least a little bit more, maybe, we're pushing 60. We ain't getting more than 60. That's just the truth. You cannot fit more than 60. Why? Because you have a high road next to the stadium. You have a cemetery, right? Behind the stadium. You have rail tracks on the side of the stadium. You've got more residential next to the stadium on the other side. And underground, if you think, okay, how about we just dig deeper then? Because you can, and some stadiums have done that. Some stadiums dig deeper in order to get more fans that way. You get a larger stand, but you get a larger stand inwards, not outwards, right? That makes sense. That's been done. The Brazilians are very good at that. We got the underground underneath. You got the trains underground, the metro, the tube. It's not happening. Logistically, Stamford Bridge is so constrained. So that's the problem. You can only expand within a certain space. And that will only allow the stadium to be able to fit somewhere between 55 and 60. You cannot go more than that. Old Trafford are here trying to do 100,000. You can dream of that to the day you die with Stamford Bridge. It's not happening. So that's the problem with staying. That's as far as you can go. Roman was happy to build a new stadium before he got exiled and whatnot. The Cathedral we saw, and that was about 55, right? And that was, the planning permission was given. That was approved. That was approved. But then he got exiled, things stopped, put that on the shelf, cool, we never saw it again. And now that's run out. Once you've been approved, you're given approval, well, that still has an expiry date. If you don't do anything, it expires and then the council move on, right? So that's that. Now, moving away, for those that go, but let's just move away. Okay, I'll ask one very simple question here. And this is also a problem that I believe many in the CPO have, which is a very, very fair point. Where are we moving to? I'll ask. And anyone that says Earl's Court, it's not happening. Go and look at, by the way, I saw one thing about apparently Hammersmith and Fulham Council that were happy to listen to swapping the development at Earl's Court to Stamford Bridge and vice versa. The residents can move to Stamford Bridge, basically. We can just swap the sites. For me, that's a load of waffle because firstly, Earl's Court isn't even in Hammersmith and Fulham Council. Earl's Court is in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. So I don't know what that's about or where that's come from. God knows. The permission, the proposal, the application in terms of the site at Earl's Court belongs to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. And as far as it's come right now, that is a redevelopment plan for residents and they've got a whole thing ready and it's gone to public consultation. That's already done. It's on the brink now of going, I think, to a small committee and then that will be given the green light and it's all guns blazing. Chelsea moving to Earl's Court means all of that has to be abandoned. That's not going to be abandoned. If you go to Earl's Court right now and look at what's happening over there, you'll see they're ready to go. The site is there. It's ready to go. They are ready to start building. Chelsea going to have to do something incredible. I don't know what it is, yeah? Or throw the bank literally at the borough and go, listen, change it. We don't get. But even then, it's gone so far down the line in terms of that redevelopment plan that I don't see them going back. It just doesn't make any sense. Realistically, there's people's lives at stake. That where they live is at stake here in terms of the redevelopment plan. So that is, for me, an absolute no-brainer. It's not happening. I want to ask you guys, if it's not Earls Court, then where are we going to? Tell me, where are we going to? If you find me a space in West or Southwest London, right, that can fit a stadium, then cheers. I'll shut up. You won't find one. You won't find one. The closest that we can do is probably trying to go to Richmond and go to the park. Yeah, go to Richmond Park and then try and take a big portion of that up and build a stadium there. And that's not going to happen because it's a park. That's a public space. That's just not going to happen. There's no way to build a stadium. You're going to have to move out. You're going to have to go to Surrey. But I'm sorry, Chelsea's not Surrey. You know? That's like imagine sending Arsenal up to Milton Keynes. It just doesn't make any sense. You know? Or send Arsenal up to Potter's Bar. Or you send Crystal Palace down to Red Hill. Imagine sending Crystal Palace to Red Hill. It don't make sense. You can't do it. The club is no longer in its location. That doesn't add up. You're not going to get the fans even showing up. It doesn't add up. There's nowhere to move. This is the problem. This is the problem. So, what do we do? What do we do? For me, the only solution is to take it on the chin, expand at Stamford Bridge, and just try and get the maximum capacity you can. That's for me, that's all that can be done. That's the easiest route. And yes, we can play away from Stamford Bridge for a few seasons, of course, but the logistical solution is to try and find the way to expand to its maximum capacity at Stamford Bridge and then just deal with it. Deal with it. Try and get near to 60. What else can be done? There's nothing else that can be done. So, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know your thoughts on this whole debate. But in relation to the CPO and all of that, I'm seeing a lot of flack being given to the CPO, and I hope I've explained why. That for me is completely unnecessary. The CPO are a good thing. Overall, it's a good thing. And it's not one or two people. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of members. You can become a member and vote. If you got something to say, become a member, become a pitch owner, buy a share. Doesn't cost too much. Buy a share. You can vote. When it goes to when it goes to a vote, everyone's got a vote. You have your say. It's as simple as that. So I don't see a CPO as a problem. If anything, I think it's a good safeguard to keep those at the club held accountable, for them to not just do whatever the hell they want. And right now, yeah, I mean, look, Roman put that vote forward and only got 65%. This lot won't even get near to 10. With the CPO at the moment, no chance. These owners, no chance. So how about that needs to be repaired first? Yeah? Think of the football on the pitch and the team and what is going on. What the main thing that many people are invested in. Sort that out. And then try and get everyone on board. I think that's the best way to go about it. But in relation to a stadium, as far as I'm concerned, the only logistical way is to stick at Stamford Bridge and just expand as much as you can and just deal with it. You know, but there's what else can we do? Move out of London? Doesn't make any sense. So let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. I will catch all of you tomorrow. No, I'll catch you later for a watch-along, obviously Champions League, but then tomorrow, brand new video and watch-along, of course, as we will be watching Arsenal PSV, but the main event, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano, so that's going to be a good one. So make sure you're there for both. Subscribe, notification bell on to get notified for those, and I'll see you later on. In a bit, people. Look after yourselves, take care, and peace.